All right. Hey guys. Okay. This is my first ever time going live, so I can't edit anything. So there's gonna be like a lot of like I'm nervous as hell. Okay, but it'll calm down. I'll calm down. But as soon as the camera turns on, I just get nervous. Okay. Anyway, let's get right into what I want to talk about. Okay. Sorry. So after COVID, I was like, after what I seen the establishment, the public health agencies, and everything, how they exaggerated COVID for the past like 2 going on 3 years. I was like, I don't trust anything. Like, I have to ask questions about everything now because being a nurse and watching how they didn't give us all the information or they gave us just a little bit of information, it really disturbed me. So now I question a lot of things. So right now we're hearing, oh, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. Russia's going to invade Ukraine. And so from the door, I'm like, where did this come from? Like, where did this conflict even come from? So I said, I'm going to just continue to look into it. I feel like I'm a little confused about it. Not necessarily confused, but we just simply don't have all the information. But anyway, so we'll go through a article and we'll just go through that because it kind of breaks down a little bit about what they're talking about, and then I'll tell you how I feel about it. Okay, and if anybody wants to comment, you can go ahead and comment. Okay, all right, all right. So excuse me. So this article is basically all right. So let's just start from the top. So this is the ABC News article. Why Americans should care about the Ukraine-Russia conflict. So when I pulled this up, I was like, excuse me. I was like, okay, maybe there's a reason why we should care. So I'm gonna have an open mind and I'm gonna look and see what they're talking about. Maybe there's something I missed. Okay. So we'll just go through it together. And I like how ABC News, like the top is like, up there it is. Like, does that need to be one of the top things on anyway? So all right. So after weeks of mounting tensions, United States officials have warned that a Russian attack on Ukraine could happen any day now. Russia has spent weeks building up military forces near Ukraine with more than 150,000 troops encircling Ukraine in Belarus and on the Russian side of the border, according to U.S. officials. All right, like so, we're gonna skim through the article too, because um, I did pre-read it. They made some points. Okay. All right. So anyway, all right. The Kremlin has denied warnings of an imminent invasion. So, all right, that's normal. Like, they would deny, regardless of what. Who's going to say, yes, I am going to invade? So, okay. As global leaders continue to engage in diplomatic efforts to avoid war between Russia and Ukraine, as a senior Department of State official told ABC News, um, warned Thursday that this is perhaps the most perilous moment for peace and security since the end of the Cold War. Okay. Um, as the conflict plays out on a global stage, Americans are somewhat mixed on how U.S. should respond. In a new poll from some university, 50% of Americans said the U.S. should not send troops to Ukraine if Russia invades, and 54% supported Joe Biden's decision to deploy troops. Okay. But that gives you more than 100%. So that's kind of weird to me, right? Okay. And then here's our president, and look at the stand. Okay. All right. So, okay. Earlier this week, President Biden addressed the American public and made clear the U.S. will not send troops to support Ukraine, but he promised to defend every inch of NATO territory. All right. So we'll hold on to that. He's making promises not to send troops into Ukraine. Okay. So um, so he said, so all right, it's about standing. So then he when he was talking to the public, he was saying it's about standing for what we believe in, for the future of what we want for our world, for liberty, the right of countless countries to choose their own destiny, and the right of people to determine their own futures, or the principle that a country can change its neighbors' borders by force, Biden said. If we do not stand for freedom where it is at risk today, we'll surely pay a deeper price tomorrow. So make some notes. Okay. All right. So So then I'm not going to get into everything with the history of NATO because most of us are really like, it doesn't even matter if you explain it. Like, I mean, if y'all want to go back and look at it, obviously after a war, there was some sort of treaty that said that like a few countries were going to have an alliance together and then they would have like forces and some, but Ukraine is not part of NATO. And so what's happening is that Ukraine, I guess what they're telling us is happening is that Ukraine is going to be part of NATO. I don't know. That's supposed to be the story. And then Russia's been deploying troops around its borders. So to like invade if they do so. So that's what they're telling us. But I'm going to skip that part. Excuse me. But hold on. Okay. So this is why I like being able to edit. Anyway, in an interview, so this part I wanted y'all to hear. Like in an interview with NBC News anchor Lester Holt earlier this week, Biden acknowledged the risk of further aggression. When asked about when asked what scenario could prompt him to send troops to aid Americans in Ukraine, Biden said, "There's not. That's a world war when Americans and Russia start shooting at one another. We're dealing with one of the largest enemies in the world. It's very different situation. Things will go crazy quickly." So, yeah. So I thought you weren't going to send American troops to Ukraine, but now you're talking about I'm not going to be able to get American citizens out because it's going to be crazy when Americans and Russians start shooting. This is why I feel like I don't know what to believe, or it's like two stories. It's always they say one thing and then they say something else, you know? Um, so then, all right. Then they talk about preserving democracy and sovereignty. Another important dimension to U.S. involvement in the crisis has to do with the support of Ukraine as a democracy, whoever Paulie has said. Since 1991, when Ukraine declared its independence, the U.S. has offered substantial foreign aid, particularly in the 90s, to help it emerge from the Soviet period, um, democratize and develop a free market economy, he said. So Ukraine is a democracy. It's the only really functioning democracy in the former Soviet space. So they're concerned about Ukraine's democracy. All right. And we are getting to the end. Hold on. I hate that I'm so nervous, y'all. Like, all right. um, here we go. Nations sorry. Nations have a right to sovereignty and territorial integrity, the president said. Okay. They have freedom to set their own course and choose who with whom they will associate. Okay. And impact their home. Okay. The exact impact of an invasion beyond the front lines remains unclear, though Biden warned American people that there would be consequences at home, foremost, an increase in energy prices as a result. So I will not pretend this will be painless, Biden said. There could be an impact on energy prices. So we're taking steps to alleviate the pressure on our own energy markets and offset rising prices. Such a liar. All right. And then they go into the amount of like the barrels and everything. And somewhere in this article, they make a statement like, "Oh, Ukraine can't just be having a bunch of people coming in and out their borders." Okay. All right. So I'm gonna come back on. Okay. All this nervousness and nobody's even on. Okay. So all right. So a few points, right? So they talk about he goes and he talks about all this. Oh, any country has the right to choose their freedom and their liberty and all. And he's saying those kind of words and the right to choose their future and how they'll have their future. Wow. That must be really nice. Dag, I'm about to move to Ukraine because I certainly am not feeling that way here. Because hold on. Sorry. Mm. Because so y'all are concerned about Ukraine making sure that they live in freedom and the right to choose all kinds of things. Yet I can't keep my job unless I take an experimental something. I'm not going to say the words on YouTube before I get shut down. An experimental something, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like it's constantly like we're being told in America constantly. Um, your freedom should not put people at risk for XYZ or your freedom, this, that, and other. Or even I've seen like articles talking about freedom is white supremacy. So it's white supremacy when we're worried about being free over here with our decisions, but Ukraine they can have freedom. And then, like I said, there's a part where they're talking about, oh, we don't need people going in and out of Ukraine borders because it's just not right for a country to have like people just coming in and out their, coming through their borders. Yes, that is true. I'm glad y'all know that because last year, 2 million people entered our borders without any kind of permission. And even if it wasn't an army, that's 2 million strangers. Like 2 million people who are not from America, they came in, and that's all our tax dollars that pays for the assistance for the people to come in. And that so how can you be so concerned about somebody else's borders? Our borders have been infiltrated like crazy and they're still being infiltrated. Like everybody's coming through. People who were like on terrorist watch lists and stuff like that, they're getting through. So why are we but we're all the way overseas in a place that a lot of people can't even point out in a map. And that's not me making fun of the people, but we have our own issues that we're dealing with at home, so it's okay that they can't point it out in the map because they're trying to feed their families and pay their bills and stuff. And so that brings me to the gas and what he said, oh, we're not going to lie. There might be like a strain with the energy prices. All right. So this is why I don't understand this administration and all of a sudden their hate for Russia. But last year they removed the sanction and they allowed the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, to have a pipeline, to have a gas line, which actually would give him more power because he'd be able to funnel like gas to the other European countries. All right, whatever. That's what y'all do. I'm sure there's some sort of backhanded corrupt payment for that. But now because y'all want to, I don't know, flex, we're gonna have to, it's not gonna be easy for you guys. Um, the energy crisis, the energy bill amount is going to get higher. Basically, gas prices are going to get higher, and they would get higher. But here's my issue: like, so, all right, they would get higher if we believe everything they say. They're saying like Putin can stop the flow from like, especially with the supplies too, since everything we need comes from another country now, including gas. It comes from another country. So they're saying that he could stop the like management of like flowing the gas, the oil from the European areas to us in America. So that's what happens when you become energy dependent, which we weren't before. Like last administration, we became energy independent, at least for the most part, you know. But now, but me personally, like, what's to say that y'all not just raising our gas prices just because I haven't seen anything substantial to tell me that Russia's coming to do this thing to Ukraine, nor have I seen anything substantial to tell me that I need to pay more money in order to assist that situation. At least if it was like, well, after Putin's done taking over Ukraine, he's on his way to America. I might could understand, like, all right, well, we need to catch him before he gets here. I can get it. That's not what you're telling me. So, and then also remember, I don't know if y'all remember when the gas lines got hacked and we couldn't get gas, and then everybody went crazy and they were putting gas in bags and putting them in their like in their trunks and stuff, and everybody was hoarding gas. That was sometime last year. They said they were like Russia did like a hacking of our gas lines. Well, if this is how, oh, thank you for the person who joined me. Um, and so if this is how Russia plays, so maybe they're fifth dimensional with this stuff. Like, so is this going to continue to happen? Because after they hacked our gas lines, we didn't do anything about it. I would have been more understanding if we were like, yeah, we got to flex on Russia because they tried to hack our gas line. And instead, but we didn't do anything. But Joe Biden like gave Putin a list, like you can't hack these certain places. Okay, you just can't hack these things. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? So, but I've been so like I said with COVID, with I'm only 38, but I've seen so many lies come from Capitol Hill. Weapons of mass destruction was a big one that lasted 20 years. COVID, and then I feel like I'm watching something being set up in order to in order to have more regulations on us. I feel like because they don't talk about COVID no more. They don't. White House has moved on from that. He said, give it to the states, they can deal with it. Okay. So now all they talk about is this Russia thing. Hold on. Which, of course, if you are telling us that there's some war coming or whatever, or I don't even know what to call it, some invasion, some egregious attack by Russia or something coming, that is what you would focus on, right? Instead of just Cove. So it makes sense, right? So, but you notice everybody's pulling back on their mandates around the country, even in blue states, which still mean nothing to me because I'm still mandated to take that shot just to have a job as a nurse. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care about your little rollback since it's hot outside or whatever. It's going to get hot because they're going to place them back again when it's winter time, at least here in Philadelphia. But anyway, but what if they said, like, what if, because people are saying, like, why are we going to war with Russia? Like, why? So then all of a sudden the internet shuts down or something. This is not about like conspiracy overthinking. It's just that after the last 2 years, I put nothing past these people. I put nothing past them because it's not going to mess up their lives, and it's us. It's us dealing with this kind of stuff. Like, so I just feel like this is a pretext for tyranny. That is exactly how I feel. A pretext for some sort of tyranny that's getting ready to come. I just can't quite put my finger on it. But what I can put my finger on is the fact that this is our tax dollars going into this, going in. I keep calling it a situation. I don't know what to call it, but this is our tax dollar. This is my money. This is your money. Like going into things that we wouldn't want to spend the money on, right? All like we have our own issues at home, our own issues, whether it be with COVID or whether it be with, people, addicts, children, schools, police, like things that need real funding, mental health facilities, all those kind of things. And our money, that's our money, goes into things that we don't get any benefit from. I'm just going to say it like that. I don't see what benefit I'm going to get from this. I don't. I see a lot of tyranny from it, like I said, but I don't see what benefit I'm going to get from it. I don't. So and it's annoying. Every week, it's like, oh, any day now, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And then they reported it like, oh, the people in Ukraine were attacked. So I said, oh my God, here it is. Excuse me. But by people, but it was by like people who are ethnically Russian who live in Ukraine who attacked Ukrainians. I mean, and that's a shame. And I want to make this clear that that's a shame, right? Okay. So if something is getting ready to happen in Ukraine, which also to the people who live there, they seem to be pretty chill. They seem more chill than we are about it. But so if something is happening over there, as much as I'm like saying like I don't care. It's not that I don't care about human lives. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. But I'm saying that we have a lot of our own issues in our country. We haven't been invaded. We're being infiltrated. Our money is being used for things that we have no say about, and it's not right. It's not. You know, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, those kind of companies, they line in the pockets of these politicians. Everybody got stocks and this type of stuff. You know, I don't pretend to know everything, but I mean, you know, praise God. I'm grateful that I'm able to make a living, but I'm not rich like these people where I want a war because I need to get my stocks up in Lockheed Martin, right? And I'm just I like people are tired. It's been a year where everything has gone up. Our gas prices, our energy prices, inflation. And then this man tells us, well, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to have to take one for the team and it's pull out more money from your pocket so we can help Ukraine. So that's how I feel about it. That's why I wanted to call this Russia talk. And because somebody watching this, like, I'm sure if like some elite person saw, like, establishment person saw this video or my live stream, they'd be like, oh, well, you're not even experienced in the things that you're talking about. You don't know anything about, government, foreign affairs, and this isn't what you know, you don't know what you're talking about. And somebody would say that. And you're right. Like, I don't know about going to war and making decisions to go fight other countries. I just know that I live here. Okay. I know that I live here. I know what I'm dealing with here. Praise God. I'm not in like some crazy situation, but I know that the American citizens are feeling very betrayed. I know that people who live here could certainly use a lot more help than they're getting. We not even about giving government money, but look at this. For me, I, it's like they're just talking about doing this thing with Russia, and people are just, if people are been watching it, a lot of people don't even know because again, their gas prices are going up, their energy prices are going up. So that's the point of view that I'm coming from with it. I'm all about finding solutions. I don't like to get. I wouldn't want to get involved with something that I can't, number one, solve, that I can't bring back to the people who I have to answer to and tell them how this made it better for them. Right? Matter of fact, like that's how I feel. Like we elect these people. The president was elected, the vice president elected, our senators, our congresspeople, everybody, they're elected. They work for us. They work for us. And they get to go up and then as all these decisions being made, and is anybody thinking about us when they're there? You know? Is anybody saying, is any politician up there saying like, um, guys, what are we doing? Like maybe we don't need to get involved with something, or I don't know. Maybe there is one. Somebody comment and let me know. Let me know below. Like if there is somebody saying something like that, like we shouldn't be doing this, or the American people actually have this on their mind or that on their mind. Y'all so worried about Ukraine, yet this massive fentanyl, ammo, guns, meth, all kinds of cocaine coming through our wide open borders that funnel right into the hood, right into Kensington, where like, because I live in Philly, so that's like our drug spot, and goes right in the arms of somebody who's suffering. And nobody says it. They don't report on that border. They don't report on it. They don't report on all the stuff coming from it. They tell you about a gun control problem, or we need gun control. So you want to make it harder for me to defend myself, but there's massive guns coming through the border, and my Democratic, and this is not about Democrats or Republican, but my mayor is Democratic, but he's all he talks about is gun control. And then every time somebody dies, he brings up gun control, but won't talk about, well, we need to do something about the border so these illegal guns won't come through. At least, you know. So it's feeling, but everybody's concerned about what's going on overseas, to the point where my representative of my district is on some committee about this situation, on some NATO committee or some Ukraine something committee. And he's bringing back, he's talking about bringing back more electric car um, charging stations to Philly in his district. And I want to know how many people in my district have an electric car. But it's like it's like nobody's paying attention to you and just making decisions with your money. That's how I feel about this. And I don't trust it. I don't, because weapons of mass destruction turned into 20 years of occupying a place we had no business being in. Straight up. We lost soldiers. Soldiers came back home missing limbs, mentally all over the place. We killed a bunch of people over there, and we brought a bunch of people back. Like, brought a bunch of people. Matter of fact, that'll be another stream because I've seen firsthand how many. Oh man. Okay. But we're gonna fix Ukraine. So we're gonna make sure Ukraine be okay. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. And comment below. Let me know how you feel about what I said. If maybe I missed a point, or maybe if you don't agree with me, maybe if you feel like, no, we should be doing this because XYZ. Hey, listen, I wanna hear your point of view. I definitely do, because you'll see my banner says inconvenient truth talk. So maybe there's something that I'm missing and I don't know, and you can enlighten me to it. I don't pretend to be a connoisseur of everything, but I just ask questions until I'm assessing. I'm assessing the facts. I'm just assessing what's in front of me, and I don't see anything cause that warrants all of this news about the situation. And like I said, a lot of people who don't even know what's going on, they're going to feel it later on. When they're going to know what's going on is when they go to the gas station and the gas is going to be like $1 more a gallon, and people are going to be like, well, wait a minute, what happened? And then because something affected them, they'll realize what happened. It's not right. So thank you for joining me. And then also, if you have any constructive criticism on me with this live, let me know. Like I said, I'm always ready for good conversation, and I take constructive criticism. Just on the comments, just be careful with some of the stuff y'all say, because YouTube, I don't know, like their algorithm picks up on every little word. Like, so if you say anything too spicy, sometimes they hide the comment, and then I'm not able to see your comment. I'll be told there is a comment. I actually might be able to see the comment, but I won't be able to reply to it. So just wanted to let y'all know that. All right. So thank you for coming through, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.